This Late Night Linux Family podcast is made possible by our patrons. Go to latenightlinux.com/support for details of how you can join them. Support us on Patreon for access to ad-free episodes and early releases. That's latenightlinux.com/support. Hello and welcome to episode 354 of Late Night Linux, recorded on the 6th of October 2025. I'm Joe, and with me are Félim.
I'm back.
Graham.
Good to have you back, Félim.
And Will.
I'm back, but nobody's pleased.
No, we don't care about that, sorry.
I mean, I go on holiday, the dogs get kennel cough, the arse falls out of KD Neon, and then I nearly died of man flu at the weekend. Like, fuck a bunch of holidays.
Sounds like you caught kennel cough.
Well, I might have.
This is why I never go on holiday.
Every day's a holiday for you, Joe. That's what you tell us privately.
Yes, do what you love and you'll never work a day in your life or something.
Yeah. Teach a man to fish.
And then you'll have some Brexit benefits.
New fish markets.
Let's get on with the news then. Raspberry Pi 500 Plus on sale now at $200, or about 180 quid, I think. This is very much like the Raspberry Pi 400 and 500, as in it's a computer inside a keyboard, like old school computers of our youth, except this time it's got quite a nice looking, at least, mechanical keyboard with RGB and everything, and it comes with an NVMe SSD with Raspberry Pi OS pre-installed.
And you could put colorized keycaps on it, and they're Gatoron KS33 blue switches, so click clacky irritate the shite out of everybody. Every click will be so satisfying.
Right, okay, but who is this for? Make it make sense to me.
I think this is a genius idea. I think this is a perfect get somebody a computer that they can take somewhere in a educational learning type of way, in the fact that it's like a laptop but less destroyable. And I don't care if you can get a fucking ThinkPad fuck knows what for like 50 quid cheaper and it's got a faster processor, whatever. This thing is genius. I think this is a really, really nice, solid piece of kit. And if Apple can charge essentially double the price for what is essentially an Android tablet, and I don't care, yes, macOS is just like Android, I don't give a shit, then I don't see why Raspberry Pi can't make a nice thing that people can use.
I hadn't considered the street appeal of the device from like for kids. I looked at it as a device for me and thought I don't need all that flashy crap, and so I'm not going to pay over the odds. But as a tool to get people into computing, and particular kids, the fact that it's got RGB LEDs above, or rather underneath, all of the keys, and they are individually addressable, is a pretty cool, he says, oh man, it seems like a pretty appealing, I guess, gimmick really, but to get people excited about what you can do with it. It's, I hadn't thought of it through that lens, and I quite like the idea.
Hello, fellow kids.
It's sick, Will, that's what it is.
Word.
It's bussing.
I thought you were all going to be negative about this. I was a skeptic about the Raspberry Pi 100 series, but recently I went to Kathmandu for UbuCon Asia, and the Ubuntu booth doesn't have much. It has an old tablet running Ubuntu Touch, and it also has Raspberry Pi 400 connected to a screen, which basically shows a slideshow. And this event was at a kind of a university in the middle of the city where ordinary students kind of come. And I have to say, the Raspberry Pi 400 drew everybody's attention. Everybody just wanted to play with it, hack around with it. We used a read-only instance of Ubuntu on there, because otherwise they were in there opening the terminal, writing hello world stuff, changing the screensaver to the matrix, doing whatever they wanted. But it was a huge draw. So, and they were young kids, man. It was really popular. So this will be even more popular.
Some of them were as young as 30.
But at that kind of price, isn't it too expensive for education?
No, at that type of price, it's an individual's machine. They get tablets to take home and stuff like that. And those things are just boring, shitey, old ex-IT department throwaways. This is something that could be customized to however you want to do it. And yeah, kids can stick their own keycaps on them and all sorts of crazy stuff like that. And I think that's important to make it personalized to some extent. Not that, oh, you're not allowed to write on the keyboard and please make sure it has the rubber membrane across the top of the keys. So, no, I think it's a genius idea.
I think I agree. I'm surprised because I don't, like Will said, I don't personally need it, but it's pretty cool. It looks well designed. And I just looked up the price of the Magic Keyboard for iPad and, it's £300.
Oh, jeez.
So, yeah, I think it looks great.
I still think you'd be better off with a ThinkPad. And if you've got 180 quid to play with, I mean, granted, that is used prices that I'm thinking of. Like, you could get something really nice for that kind of price these days, ThinkPad-wise, that comes with a screen, comes with a battery.
Okay, but you can't say, right, across the entirety of, say, the UK, everybody in year whatever, you now need to have this laptop. And they hand out the specs for a shite 150 quid ThinkPad that, oh, well, there's not enough stock for everybody to get the same one. And yeah, I know a computer is a computer, but it isn't really, because if you don't know what you're doing, you take things far too literally, like, oh, plug it into the where? I don't have that port in mine. It's a different color. It's like, because your USB port has blue on it or something. It's like, yeah, same thing. Don't worry about it. But they do worry about it. This is a sort of standardized thing that you can go on that is decent.
And I think it's spec'd highly enough that it is actually capable of doing both useful work and playing games at the same time. 16 gig of RAM on a Raspberry Pi 5 CPU, that's a lot of horsepower that you can play with. And so it takes it from being, let's say, an educational tool into being a toy at the same time. And yes, you could do that with these cheaper laptops, but I don't think it'd be quite as performant for things like games.
I don't know about games, but an x86 machine of similar price is going to absolutely smoke a Raspberry Pi 5. I mean, I've got one. I've tried it. Like, even an N100, which is a relatively weak Celeron, absolutely shits on the Raspberry Pi 5. Sorry to be the, downer, but I just don't think it makes sense to me.
It's just not for you, Joe.
No, it really isn't. It's just not aimed at me, seemingly. Well, anyway, while we're on the topic of Raspberry Pi, they've got some price increases, specifically for the 4GB and 8GB products. And this is just about supply and demand, basically, the prices that they're paying for stuff. It's quite nice that they actually write a blog post about this and let people know why, rather than just, it's more expensive, fuck you.
Didn't they do this once before when there was either a price increase or a shortage of components or something? They actually bothered to write up a blog post which explained what was going on. I think it was them.
Yeah, and also when they did a price decrease as well. They just try and be transparent with this stuff, which I think is nice.
Yeah, I think the same thing they mentioned, that the Compute Module 1 is going down by $5 to $25 because it's not dependent on the memory.
And there's also a new version of Raspberry Pi OS based on Debian Trixie. And this time they got an actual designer involved. And for the first time, it actually looks quite nice, I think. It looks almost modern, but still not quite.
It must look purely futuristic for you, though, after XFCE.
Oh, yeah, it's like...
Hologram OS.
Yeah, exactly. It's like Tron or something.
It does have Wayland.
Yeah, and they've consolidated all the settings into one application, which is nice.
The thing I missed was the bookshelf app that they have, which links back to the Raspberry Pi press publications, and an awful lot of them are free. And they have a thing where apparently you can become a member for the magazine, and you get access to them quicker than other people. But I actually think that's a really brilliant idea. And I'm now stressing about all these free PDFs that I don't have in my collection because I must collect every PDF that exists.
Learn to code with C. Definitely want to add that to your collection.
I do. You're right.
Daniel Stenberg, the curl developer, posted something on Mastodon that was quite surprising. If you remember back, it must be a couple of months ago, we talked about all the AI slop bug reports that he was moaning about. Well, it turns out that someone used AI tools to find various bugs, one or two of which were actual security flaws, and help to fix them. So therefore, AI is brilliant and Félim is wrong.
AI is actually being used in a correct way with a skilled person at the end of it. That is the difference here. The problem is all these companies want to try and get rid of the actual human part where humans are good. Humans are good at thinking up ideas and actually implementing the basics of them. Humans are not very good at analysing large tracts of very, very boring information and then going, is there anything wrong with this bit that looks almost like that bit but isn't quite? Where they should actually be using things like machine learning to do that. And for the first time, they have actually used it the right way fucking round, and somebody who was smart was using it could disregard all of the bullshit that it came out and go, oh, that is actually true. So yes, that's the correct use of it. As I saw on somebody had posted online, why the fuck isn't AI folding and doing my fucking washing? Because I actually enjoy the coding part, but that bit can fuck right off.
So you're saying AI is good? Okay, got it.
I think machine learning for a very machine learning task is a great idea, and I haven't ever said otherwise. I think LLMs are still shit, though.
Well, I'm shocked. I thought you were going to just shit all over this.
No. I mean, I think, look, use the right tool for the job. LLMs are shit for writing stuff and summarizing stuff. If they can look at statistical analysis of errors made and then flag it to somebody who knows what that actually looks like, not just some rando who goes, I'm going to make a load of money and get a free t-shirt if I fucking file as many bugs as possible. Yeah, that's fine. But again, that's not going to make them money, and they're still burning the universe down and making no cash out of it. But anyway, let's just see.
Okay, this episode is sponsored by Tailscale. Go to tailscale.com/LNL. Tailscale is the easiest way to connect devices and services to each other, wherever they are. Tailscale gives you secure remote access to any resource anywhere in the world. Whether that's databases, servers, Kubernetes, on-prem boxes, virtual private clouds, desktop PCs, 3D printers, or offsite backups in your friend's garage. Connect anything and everything you want, wherever it is, and get started in minutes. Tailscale's personal plan will always be free, and you get up to 100 devices and 3 users for free with no credit card required. So support the show and go to tailscale.com/LNL and try Tailscale out today. Or if you want to use Tailscale at an industrial scale, with more users and devices, or take advantage of features like MDM policies, auditing, network flow logging, and priority support, try it out at work using the code Linux25. You'll get 3 free months of any Tailscale paid plan, and you can find out why thousands of companies like Instacart, Hugging Face, and Duolingo have switched to Tailscale. That's code Linux25. We talked recently about Google's changes to sideloading on Android and how they're going to make developers register with them in order for their applications to be sideloadable on proper certified Android devices. Well, at the time, we wondered what this would mean for F-Droid, and it's not looking good. Mark from F-Droid put up a post basically saying that it means the end of F-Droid, which on the one hand, I'll take his word for it, but on the other hand, what about people like you, Félim, who don't have any Google shit? Like, it's not going to affect you at all, hopefully.
No, it isn't. I don't know what the statistics of people who just install stuff from F-Droid versus people who have a completely Google-less install. I imagine there are more people who install F-Droid and also have Google, though.
Well, like me, yeah, and Graham.
In fact, one of the apps I use, which is a leveling app called Bubble, released an update to say it'll no longer be supported after this happens because the developer's not prepared to sign the agreement with Google. So I guess we'll see that more and more.
That's interesting because I was going to ask, who is going to be more motivated to update their apps? Is it going to be the thousands of spammy apps that are out there, or is it going to be people who are writing actually useful software and want to get their software into the hands of users? So I rather suspected that like the legitimate app developers club would be the people who signed up more, but it sounds like that is absolutely not the case.
Well, I think that anyone who doesn't mind giving details to Google and dealing with their bullshit is already on the Play Store. And F-Droid is for people who don't want to have to deal with that.
What I find interesting is how this sort of tallies with the European Markets Act or whatever it was called, where they said they essentially have to have an other way to install apps. They're not allowed to block it. And I don't know how they can tally those two against each other. Hashtag not a lawyer, obviously. So I do find there seems to be some sort of weird ground here where, you know, you can say, oh, well, all they have to do is verify themselves. Well, no, because you don't even know who the hell these people are. And I don't see why F-Droid would have to start authenticating them. I mean, technically, if you install F-Droid, you've installed F-Droid, and the F-Droid developer could go and sign up for it. But then what, all the apps within F-Droid, do they have to be done the same way? They're not sideloaded. They're going through an app store.
Well, yeah. But in this day and age, if you've got enough money, you can do whatever the fuck you want and just get away with it.
Yeah. And the funny thing is, that Google said, oh, yeah, we understand people might be doing, like, say, if they're in an oppressive regime and they don't want their details to be leaked, so they're doing things in this sort of way, and we promise we won't share them with anybody. What a load of shite.
Yeah, we promise honest.
If the NSA or the CIA come to them and say, who wrote that app and where do they live, they have to give it to them. That's it. They don't even get to say, just watch out there now, we had to give a whole lot of details to these guys. I mean, that's just the way it is.
You're talking about the post that Google put up, Let's Talk Security, answering your top questions about Android developer verification, where they explain that if you are a hobbyist developer and you only want to distribute your application to a few friends, then you don't have to pay the $25 registration fee. You can have like a hobbyist account, but it means you have to tell them each device that it's going to be installed on. You can't distribute it publicly, which is really disappointing. Like I said when we talked about this before, yeah, implement something like this, but give me an option to opt out of it as an end user. Like, just give me a button, bury it, like, 3 menus deep or whatever, but just give me the fucking option. It's my phone. Let me do what I want with it.
Yeah, cynically, now, I'm not normally cynical, but I'd almost think that this wasn't even remotely associated with security. It was more about absolute control above the ecosystem and make sure that nobody can get out past their shitey place or...
Well, yeah, exactly.
But remember, I'm not cynical, so I didn't say that.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's incentivizing people to just say, well, what's the point? If I've got to give them all my details anyway, I may as well stick it on the Play Store. And then Google just wins.
In fact, just looking at the repository for the F-Droid app I just mentioned, Bubble, it seems like there's a group of open source app developers who are getting together to basically say they're not going to update their apps for certified Android devices after the requirement. I guess trying to create some movement behind the idea rather than acting as individual developers, but it's only, 12 or so at the moment.
Pissing in the wind, isn't it, really?
That said, Whobird is an awesome, awesome app. You can play it, or, well, rather get your phone to record the sound of a bird nearby, and it'll tell you what it is. It's amazing. I didn't actually, it's actually a FOSS project, which I didn't even know about until I found it on a other site that recommended it from the Play Store.
I don't like this. Like we said before, if there's some alternative when this happens, a phone, I would use it. I just hope that happens.
Well, I've seen a few people who sent me messages on Mastodon, and I've seen various articles here and there where essentially it's going to come down to the fact that you'll end up with a cheap throwaway Android phone that has like 2 or 3 apps that you just can't live without, like maybe one your banking app and then the other, and then essentially access a gateway for your Linux device to access the web. Might just be that way.
Yeah, we can all be like Andy with his GPD pocket.
Sounds like a plan to me. What they need to do is make a really, really, really stupidly small phone that doesn't even have a screen. It just boots up and acts like a device that you can pair to, and then you can have all that shite running on it headless.
I was just thinking that. Can we get like an Android phone KVM that we leave at home plugged in somewhere, and then we just access that from the phones we take with us?
Your traffic stats at Google Maps are going to be pretty lame, though. Your road is, again, still free of traffic.
Yeah, navigate home. You are home.
Well, speaking of Android, Google has finally admitted or revealed that ChromeOS is getting replaced by Android. So they talk about Android for PC. So all those features that we've talked about, like the terminal and all that, I was right. They're adding that for people to use on laptops.
Well, I've just gone on to killedbygoogle.com, and it's like in Back to the Future where the photograph fades people in and out as they change time. I can see Android for PC fading in and out at the top there. Honestly, who would trust anything that Google does for a device that is more than a toaster?
You included a link to a Verge article where they quote Google's Samir Samat, who uses there's only like 2 paragraphs of quote, and they use the word super 4 times, which is really annoying. And they also say Android tablets have been super successful. They're becoming more productivity machines. Where has that happened? And then the next sentence is for Félim. There's an opportunity for us that we see is how we accelerate all the AI advancement. I can't even read that.
Was that written by AI then?
Yeah, it's what it sounds like it. So I'm not too hopeful.
They're catching up, or trying to, with Apple here, because the latest version of iPadOS, 26, I think, I'm not really sure, adds desktop effect mode into an iPad. So you can connect, well, you don't even need to, but you can connect a Bluetooth keyboard and mouse and use an iPad as if it were a laptop computer with Windows, and you can alt-tab between things. And that landed earlier this month, perhaps at the tail end of September. And it works very well, and it's quite useful. And it's out there now on devices of millions and millions of devices already, and people are using it. So Google are a bit behind the times here. And so I wonder how much of this announcement now is because they are having to get caught up, and perhaps they're rushing through. So perhaps they haven't really worked out what their plan is yet.
No, I think that they've been planning this for about a year or so at this point. I think, yeah, Apple beat them to it, but no, I think that this was in the works at least a year ago.
I'm thinking, like, how are they going to differentiate themselves from, I suppose they've never done that in the past, really. So it's not going to stop them now, is it?
Nope. Also, what's a computer?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
There was an advert for the iPad, and it was a kid, I think outside or something, playing with an iPad, and the parent says something about a computer, and the kid's like, what's a computer?
Oh, dear.
But this is the company that calls it a fucking logic board instead of a motherboard, so, you know.
How's that 1984 ad working out for you now, boys?
Graham, you put this in. Baldur's Gate 3 has got a Steam Deck native version.
Yeah, I just thought this was interesting because Baldur's Gate 3 has been one of the biggest games recently. It's sold millions and millions. It must be one of the top 10 PC sellers. So there's no need for the developer to create a native Linux version. And yet they have. They've created a Linux version of Baldur's Gate 3 that I have installed on my Steam Deck, and it does run better than the Proton version, which didn't really work. And it's just great to see.
Good on them.
Never imagined it would happen. Yeah.
Okay, this episode is sponsored by 1Password. If you're a security or IT professional, you've got a mountain of assets to protect. Devices, identities, and applications which can add up to a mountain of security risks. Fortunately, you can conquer that mountain with 1Password Extended Access Management. Over half of IT pros say securing SaaS apps is their biggest challenge. Thankfully, Trellica by 1Password can discover and secure access to all your apps, managed or not. Trellica by 1Password inventories every app in use at your company. Then pre-populated app profiles assess SaaS risks, letting you manage access, optimize spend, and enforce security best practices across every app your employees use. Manage shadow IT, securely onboard and offboard employees, and meet compliance goals. Trellica by 1Password provides a complete solution for SaaS access governance, and it's just one of the ways that Extended Access Management helps teams strengthen compliance and security. 1Password's award-winning password manager is trusted by millions of users and over 150,000 businesses, from IBM to Slack. And now they're securing more than just passwords with 1Password Extended Access Management. Plus, 1Password is ISO 27001 certified. With regular third-party audits, 1Password exceeds the standards set by various authorities and is a leader in security. Take the first step to better security for your team by securing credentials and protecting every application, even unmanaged shadow IT. Learn more at onepassword.com/late-night-linux. That's onepassword.com/late-night-linux, all lowercase. New digital ID scheme to be rolled out across UK. Or is it? We don't know.
Is this the third or fourth time that this has come around? I mean, it must have come out a couple of times since we've been doing this podcast. I would be surprised if it actually comes to fruition. We've seen this before over and over again. The goals behind it, they say that it's not compulsory, but it is mandatory, I think was one of the quotes.
Yeah, so Starmer comes out and says this is definitely happening. It's going to be mandatory. Like, if you want to work in the UK, then you have to have this digital ID card on your phone. And so people are instantly saying, well, fuck that, A, and B, what if I don't have a phone? And so then there was this petition that was started, do not introduce digital ID cards. And it very quickly hit 1 million. Then I went to sleep and woke up and it was like 1.5 million. And now, where are we? Like a week or so later, 2.8 million people have signed it. And this is not some Mickey Mouse thing. This is petition.parliament.uk. And so the government had to respond to it.
Was their response 2 fingers up in the air pointed back at everybody else?
Well, that's what I expected. But no, it's quite a long thing that says like, oh, it's going to help stop illegal working, which it fucking won't. Like, oh yeah, the people who come over illegally and work in car washes and stuff, yeah, they're definitely going to have to show their ID cards for working for cash. Yeah, right. It's just complete bullshit, quite frankly. And the key line is it will not be compulsory to obtain a digital ID, but it will be mandatory for some applications. So they're saying like, if you want to work and file taxes and, you know, loads of other stuff, you are basically going to have this. But they're also saying that like you don't necessarily have to have it. So it seems like just fucking weasel words to me. And they do say that like you don't necessarily have to have a smartphone, because that was one of the big problems with this. Like that was what I thought. Well, like, you know, what if Félim decided to move to the UK?
There's more of me than you think, you know.
I know. There's at least 3 of you.
I'm hashtag trendy now. I'm also sick with it. Yeah. Teenagers are getting lots of feature phones. I tell you.
Yeah, on God. Anyway, I think that if he really, really wants to do this, it's going to bring him down. And it's going to be catastrophic because we're going to end up with fucking Farage.
Are those your only options?
Basically, at this point, yes.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. You guys need to sort your politics out a bit.
Tell me about it. But yeah, I honestly think that if he really, really goes for this, like it'll bring him down. Like he's already in a very weak position, like just over a year in, and without getting too political, I honestly think this is really fucking bad news for him. Like he's so politically inept that he might try and actually do this. And there's so much pushback. You know, 2.8 million people have signed this thing.
I sadly agree, Joe. I think that it's too likely to end badly, and we are going to end up with a very, very poor outcome if he pushes it through. But I don't think he feels like he's got any choice but to push it through, because what other soapboxes has he got to stand on? Not very many, if any at all. So I feel like something must be done. This is something, therefore he must do it, and it will be the undoing of his government, which is a shame.
Yeah, I just don't think that the backbenchers are going to vote for it, is the bottom line. Not enough of them. And, you know, all the other parties will vote against it, and it'll just make him look like a fucking idiot. And it'll just be untenable at that point. You're listening to Late Night Politics.
But Joe, if you've done nothing wrong, you've got nothing to worry about.
Of course, yeah. So I'll get my digital ID on my phone, and there's no chance that the government will fuck it up. And, you know, it's not like when their servers go down or there's no network and I can't access my digital ID. That's not going to happen. I'm not going to end up like refused a mortgage as a result of it or anything like that.
No.
Just wait till all those cyber criminals get in charge of all those IDs that they can then use to register in the Play Store. They'll be sorted.
And they'll never be automatically transcribing all of your various podcasts to add all this data to your user ID so that when you do anything or travel anywhere, all of that will be attached. Nothing to worry about.
Yeah. And they definitely won't use this to verify your age on Mikey JPEG's websites or anything.
I can always offer you a service outside of the jurisdiction, don't you know?
Well, don't you be too smug with that chat control bullshit.
Shut up. It's fine.
Germany looking to be in favour of that now, even though it looked like they were going to be against it. We live in bleak, bleak times.
It's totally fine.
This is why it's difficult to know what to say. This exact thing has come up with, you know, both governments in the UK, and it's exactly the same thing. I don't understand this obsession with control, but it's about control. And it's not popular, it's not effective, but that's not the point.
And let's be realistic. At best, it'll work like CCTV, where it'll be an after the fact. Oh, yeah, they talked about it on a chat app. I was like, well, okay, and then what? What's that done for you?
The only thing that bothers me is that this is exactly what the far right feel about the same thing as well. So it like puts us all in the same group.
I know, it's funny that, isn't it? But, even a stop clock is right twice a day and all that.
Yeah.
But, you've got like literally the Green Party and the far right agreeing on this.
In fairness, I think they've got a stopped calendar that is only valid between the years of 39 and 45.
I think when you've got people of such different political alignments agreeing on something, then maybe it's just common sense. And you've only got the supposed centrists saying, oh, we're going to push for this. And then, arguably the far left or, hard left, whatever you want to call it, populist left. I mean, the Green Party leader has described himself as an eco-populist, and he's definitely left. So the populist right and the populist left are both against this. That should tell you something. Because they fucking don't agree on anything else, do they?
Maybe by not supporting this, we'll win back a few of our American listeners.
Maybe, yeah. We'll win back some of the old libertarians, yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be great. Look forward to them recommending crypto to us again. I do not look forward to that, just to be clear. Right, well, we'd better get out of here then. We'll be back next week when who knows what it'll be. But until then, I've been Joe.
I'm in Félim.
I've been Graham.
And I've been Will.
See you later.